padam sadhana dalita sina shakhanishtam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. Sorry, my laptop got some updates were started coming at the last moment. Sorry.
No problem, no problem. Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. We welcome all of you to the today's morning program, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sachitanaya Gaura Prabhuji. Prabhuji will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 14th chapter, and the text 12. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Umagyanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Nave Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 14, text 12. स यदा दुग्धपूर्वसुकृतस्तदा कारस्कर काकतुण्डादि अपुण्यध्रुमलता विशोद पानवद उभयार्थशून्य द्रविणान् जीवान् मृतान् स्वयं जीवन म्रियमान पधावती. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: due to his pious activities in previous lives, the conditioned soul attains material facilities in this life. But when they are finished, he takes shelter of the wealth and riches, which cannot help him in this life or the next. Because of this, he approaches the living dead who possesses these things. Such people are compared to impure trees, creepers, and poisonous wells. Purport: the wealth and riches acquired through previous pious activities should not be misused for sense gratification. Enjoying them for sense gratification is like enjoying the fruits of a poisonous tree. Such activities will not help the conditioned soul in any way, neither in this life nor the next. However, if one engages his possessions in the service of the Lord under the guidance of a proper spiritual master, he will attain happiness both in this life and the next. Unless he does so, he eats a forbidden apple and thereby loses his paradise. Lord Sri Krishna therefore advises that one's possession should be given unto him. Yat karoshi yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusva madarpanam. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, all as well as austerities that you may perform should be done as an offering unto me. Bhagavad Gita 9:27. Material wealth and opulence attained through previous pious activities can be fully utilized for one's benefit in this life and the next if one is Krishna conscious. One should not try to possess more than he needs for the bare necessities. If one gets more than is needed, the surplus should be fully engaged in this Lord service. That will make the conditioned soul, the world, and Krishna happy. And this is the aim of life. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamiyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakha Nitavischa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkapatam Vande Shri Guru Tarina Paramananda Madhav Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So welcome to today's Bhagavatam class. So today we are discussing about this particular shloka, Canto 5 and chapter 14, 12 shloka. Here Srila Prabhupada is explaining that due to his pious activities in previous lives. So every jiva carries the vasana, the taste that it has developed from its previous life. And so those who has done pious activities because of their previous pious activities, the soul attains material facilities. So they attain material facility. So once they are used to the material facility, they don't want to give up the material facility and always wants to be in that comfort. Be in that comfort and also but once that material facility is done, once the eligibility is completed, but still they want to enjoy that facility, and to do that they approach all other means like approaching very very rich people and associating with them, somehow making sure they are not out of that opulence. So, so that becomes their nature. They fail to understand that it was because of their past punya that they had this facility of being able to uh, enjoy that opulence, and that past punya was the reason. But now they have uh, they have exhausted it. That they fail to understand. So if someone goes to a very if he is say quite rich and he wants to stay in a very opulent place, he goes on some say a vacation, he goes to some resort or whatever wherever he wants to go, and he spends a lot of money, and for uh, he has become accustomed to it, because he has the um, wealth and opulence to spend on that. He spends a lot of time, a lot of money to live in a very opulent way. But after some time, once he is deprived of that, he has exhausted all his opulence, then now he is very much attached to that place, attached to that place. He does not want to come out. He does not want to go back to his house, his normal old house. He does not want to go back. He wants to stay back and enjoy. But he does not have any more money to spend there. So somehow or the other, he tries to stick to that. So which is very impractical. So it is not possible that one can stay. So the better way would have been that he spends very uh, very optimistically and very thoughtfully. He instead of spending a very lavish life, instead of leading a very lavish life, he could have saved some money and properly utilized it. So similarly, this opulence that has been given by the Lord should be utilized in the service of the Lord. So everybody has their position. So some are very rich, some are not. So whatever be their position, the situation should be, they should utilize that situation in the service of the Supreme Lord. So Krishna says here, Yat karoshi yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, yadasi yat tapasyasi, tat kurushva madarpanam. So whatever you do, whether whatever you do, whatever ashnasi, whatever you eat. So one cannot live without eating. So even that whatever you eat should be had as a prasada of the Supreme Lord. And yet juhoshi, whatever you offer, and whatever you give in austerity, all that, even in austerity, if somebody is giving, that can be given in such a way that Krishna is pleased. There are various different ways of giving dana. So that also should be, that act of giving to somebody also should be used in the service of Krishna. Also, lot of tapasya. People are doing extreme tapasya. So they are working hard. They are working so many hours in a week, beyond their capacity, beyond their physical well-being. They even many times neglect their family to work hard. So they are doing a lot of tapasya, but that tapasya is not it's not done to please the Lord. So whatever act we do should be in such a way that it is for pleasing the Lord. Dharma swanishtita pumsam vishwakseno katha suyah na utpadiyate dhritim shramayeva kevalam. So if someone is doing some tapasya, it should be such that by the virtue of that act, that he should develop the taste for Krishna Katha. So if that is not happening, that means it is a waste. That tapasya is a waste. See, nowadays, it is very evident if you see around the world, around what's happening, we can see how the activities, the end result of what we are doing, it may not be very favorable to us in any way. So we can see lot of land, people acquire, but then somebody else claims, right? There are so many things going on. We can understand that how much hard we work, but what's happening? It's totally viparita. It may not be useful to us. So that is why this balance uh, is very important. And also in any case, the best bargain, sorry, what is it? Best no, bad bargains, best use could be to utilize everything in Krishna service at any time, and this formula holds good at any time. So we should make sure that it is all used in the service of the Lord. See, and moreover, this in the Varnashrama system, one takes to Grihastha life. One takes to Grihastha life as a part of the system, which is a Varnashrama system. Those who cannot continue as a brahmachari and go ahead, they take to Grihastha life. But the principle of all the ashramas is to serve the Supreme Lord and please Him. So, but what happens when somebody takes to Grihastha life? They become very deeply attached, and they think to increase the possessions and go on increasing his family and the possessions. To increase them is the only goal of life. They think like that, which is not correct. So in any case, it is only to please the Supreme Lord. And at many times one has to be in the Grihastha life. So being in Grihastha life is not an impediment in any way to Krishna consciousness. One can continue to do Krishna consciousness well, being in Grihastha life also. Vane dhako, grihe dhako, sada hari vole dhako. That means wherever you are, whichever situation you are in, from there itself one can please the Lord. So if somebody thinks it is only for increasing my possessions and family, that is wrong. So it is told, Chanakya Pandita says, Ranakarta Pita Shatru. The father who is creating burden in the form of debts is a Shatru. Mata, if she is marrying second time, she is a Shatru. And wife, if she is charming, then she is a Shatru. Then Putra, Apandita Putra, means if somebody's son is not very intelligent, is a Murka, then he is a Shatru. So this understanding, one should base his activities, one should base his Grihastha life based on these facts, and he should be aware that because of the riches, he is addicted, and that once he is aware, he will try to rectify his act and try to try that his life is not influenced by the riches that he possesses or that riches that he was once exposed to. So that one should be critically aware of. So that is very important, and that is, as I said, for in any case, the best uh, way of to the best way to deal with this bad bargain is to surrender to the Lord and work in the service of the Lord. In which case, we are utilizing the money that has been, or opulences that has been given in our care, is properly utilized, and so that should be the principle, to utilize the money or opulences that has been given in one's care is properly utilized in the service of Krishna. So otherwise, if you see, what one person needs is a good health and problemless life, so that he can focus on Krishna consciousness. If somebody is given everything but he is not focusing on Krishna consciousness, he is not utilizing his time, then it is only a waste. So see, there are two ways of looking at things. One is one can be in the family life, or one can be in any given conditional or occupational duty, but still work for the Supreme Lord. He can dovetail his activities. He can uh, all his activities he can convert into to pleasing the Supreme Lord. So that is one way of looking at it. Other way is to leave everything and surrender, and give up all the opulences and go. So there are two ways to look at it. One is, see, like for example, Arjuna was told to fight. He was not asked to leave everything. But some cases people have left. Like for example, after much trying, King Anga left. He is father of Vena. He left everything and went to forest. He did not inform anyone. Ideally, anyways, kings would go to forest. Not there. Once the entire kingdom is handed over to his son or any appropriate person who can do justice to the subjects, then they will go. But in this case, he was not able to tolerate the misdeeds of Vena, and he simply walked away from his life. So these are the two extremes. But usually we would see in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna was teaching Arjuna to lead a life being amidst of things and doing his karma. So this is like, it may appear like he's doing a karma yoga, which means he's trying to satisfy the Lord. He's trying to through his action he is trying to satisfy the Lord, and he wants to benefit out of it. Karma yoga means first pleasing the Lord, and so that there are also two divisions. One is Sakama Karma Yoga and one is Nishkama Karma Yoga. But this basically one's active based on one's karma, based on one's occupational duty, he is trying to satisfy the Supreme Lord. But whereas in Bhakti Yoga, the impetus is not the karma. His impetus is not his occupational duty. The impetus is to serve the Lord, primarily serve the Lord, and as a part of that, take up some activity and do it. So, but if we see in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explains how in every stage the bhakti devotional act service is given the importance is Prabhupada has explained all the purpose in a way such that bhakti becomes the impetus for everyone to act, and thus do karma yoga and act. So this is karma yoga worldview. In the sense, it is a way of looking at things to please the Lord, in which one is engaged in an activity amidst of things, in the thick of things, and doing. Other thing is to leave everything and uh, completely serve the Supreme Lord. So Arjuna was uh, doing his part of fighting and thus pleasing the Lord. Then Vidura was also, uh, he was right from the starting. Vidura was always uh, in the in in the midst of the political activities that was going on, but he never deviated from advising his brother about the how he should plan his things, how he should run his kingdom in order to satisfy the Supreme Lord. So that was his teaching throughout. If you see, that was his teaching throughout. So it is very nicely summarized in one place. I'll just pull out that shloka. Getting that. One second. Ah, yes. So, Vidura was amidst of this political uh, the political scenario. He was advising in spite of his so much of influence, so much of association with worldly people. Vidura was constantly, very dedicatedly maintaining that how his uh, his his brother should lead the kingdom as per the shastric injunctions, and how it should be a service to the Supreme Lord. So he was, but in spite of telling so much, the Vidura was not spared. He was asked to, and in the last moment, all of a sudden one day, when Dhritarashtra was wanting to ask him for some suggestion, he bluntly told that give up your son's association, and and uh, and ask Pandavas to come and rule the kingdoms. So that did not go well with Duryodhana, and immediately he ordered that Vidura be removed from this place and removed from his kingdom. So that is um, when he's meeting Maitreya Rishi, he is explaining. So I'm not astonished at this, having traveled over the world without being seen by others. The activities of the personality of Godhead, which are like those of a man in this material world, are bewildering to others. But I know of his greatness by his grace, and thus I'm happy in all respects. So such a very nice contemplation. Once, see, Vidra was advising these good things, this appropriate behavior of uh, that a king should follow as per this Shastri scripture, and he had a firm faith in Lord's activities and how it should be conducted. So similarly, any person who is in the uh, family life should lead as per the instructions given. Like it may appear, one should collect more and more money, move with worldly people, accumulate riches, increase his family. Like that it may appear, because that is coming from the previous life's vasana, and also it may appear like that, but the correct thing is to do as Vidura did, in spite of being in the among the worldly people. His instructions were clear, his thoughts were clear, which is to please the Lord, and firmly fixed in his position in following those instructions. So that is how one should uh, that is the principle that one should adapt in leading the householder life, uh, uh, or material, when working among material people. So once Duryodhana asked, then Vidura had to leave. Then when Vidura left, he was moving around in incognito. He was not very very much visible to people. People were not able to recognize him. In that way, he wandered throughout many kshetras, and he comes back to Dhritarashtra to advise him. So what Vidura is explaining the shloka is, see, I am not astonished at this, having traveled around the world without being seen by others. So three things. One is, he was able to go around the world without being seen by others. Then second thing is, the activities of the Lord, which are like those of human in this material world, are bewildering to others. So one may think, how has Lord helped him? How has Lord helped him? Huh? So people may think like that, but only Vidura can understand how uh, it was such a mercy for him that he was actually removed from this place. He was there up. When he was there, he was able to preach the pious things to his king. But at one time, when he was asked to leave, he took it as a his Krishna's plan, and he left. So, and that was a great boon for him. That was a great mercy, and whatever he was able to preach in when he was in the palace, he was able to realize and follow uh, and follow when he was actually removed from the palace. So he was already a gold. In even see, gold, if it is not tested, it is gold only. But if it is tested, then the value of that also is more. If it is when it is like when they put it in fire, it will glow more. If it was not tested, then also the gold was gold only. Its value was there. So like how Lord Ramchandra showed, how to follow dharma, and also of course Krishna also showed, but the preaching came in when Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita. Ramchandra never advised anybody as to how one should lead, and there was no discussion like that of Krishna's and Arjuna's in case of Lord Ramchandra's pastime, but he demonstrated it. Similarly, here Vidura, as a great devotee of the Lord, also uh, advised the same thing and followed how one should please the Supreme Lord in whatever position he is in. So, yes. Now, but it looked like for a normal person, it would look like, Krishna is also a man in this mortal world, but Vidura only can understand the situation in which uh, he was put, and he was thus saved by the Supreme Lord. So here I will read this purport once, some part of it. He could realize this in this, but Vidura wanted to achieve sincere devotional service of the Lord, and therefore became a soul absolutely surrendered to the absolute personality of Godhead. He could realize this in the progress of his pilgrim's journey, and thus he was freed from all doubts. He was not at all sorry to be bereft of his hearth and home, because he now had experienced that dependence on the mercy of the Lord is greater freedom than so-called freedom at home. So one grihastha, or one who is bent on misusing his wealth, they should at some point, if we are supposed to, if they are supposed to get into this kind of experience, bitter experience, then they should be so prepared that they don't have to bother. They should have developed so much faith in the Lord, uh, like Vidura, when he left, he did not hanker for his wealth and opulence that he once enjoyed. Definitely, being such a um, he had such a princely association, kingly association. Definitely, the opulence uh, were not less than king's opulences. But of course, but then he did not hanker uh, hanker for those opulences. So uh, so he was not at all sorry to be bereft of his health and home, because he now had experienced that dependence on the mercy of the Lord is greater freedom than so-called freedom at home. See, as long as he had the duty of telling his brother, he was around his brother and the kingdom. But once he had to leave, then there was no hankering. He was more happier because the freedom that he was getting was much more than what the freedom that he was getting at home. So a person should not be in renounced order of life unless he is firmly convinced of being protected by the Lord. See, any person who wants to be in this, enjoy this freedom, first of all, he must be convinced that at home, being at home and following the uh, following the you know the responsibilities, and fulfilling the responsibility that he's supposed to do, and at the same time developing that love for the Lord. One should have developed enough love for the Lord, enough dependence on the Lord, that even if he had to leave uh, that that um, that life of responsibility, then he must be firmly convinced that even if I leave, my firm faith will not shake. Sometimes, if because of immature living, he may start doubting, how is Lord going to protect me? Well, it is Lord's it is Lord's plan. We don't have to worry about it. But one who immaturely tries to leave everything may actually doubt. So that is why developing the firm faith in Lord while in this conditioned state, or or in the situation of grihastha life, or any uh, this kind of life, one should have developed enough faith. So Prabhupada is quoting this point from Bhagavad Gita: Abhay sattva samshuddhi. Abhay sattva samshuddhi. Sattva samshuddhi means to purify his existence, purify one's existence. Abhayam means to dependence on the Lord. Every fearlessness. Every living entity is factually completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. But unless one is in the pure state of existence, he cannot be established in this position. This stage of dependence is called sattva samshuddhi, or purification of one's existence. The result of such purification is exhibited in fearlessness. A devotee of the Lord who is called Narayanapara is never afraid of anything, because he is always aware of the fact that the Lord protects him in all circumstances. With this conviction, Vidura traveled alone. See, here the talk about fearlessness is discussed. But of course, fearlessness, there is a difference between being reckless and not doing anything. So one has to engage himself uh, in his occupational responsibilities, and at the same time develop the love for the Lord. So, saying that I will only depend on the Lord, I will not go and do anything, any activity, that is also not correct. And also saying completely going out and out and doing something, imagining that Lord will come and help, that is also wrong. So that is why this example of Vidura is very important, and this shloka Vidura is very nicely capturing the whole purport of what how he was carrying on with his life at the palace at King's Place, and when he left, and what was his position, and in how in both cases he was depending on the Lord. That is how it is nicely explained. So not everyone's life will have these extremities, but however, the underlying principle is how we develop that faith, and how, as day proceeds, as time passes, how our dependence on Krishna increases, and how the uh, dependence on material things reduces. That should be the measure. Uh, that should be the measure, and that should, based on that measure and based on the instructions for the given situation, one can develop his Krishna consciousness accordingly. So, and this in the shloka it is told, those who approach these materialistic people for more and more wealth, uh, they are called living deads, because they cannot give anything. They cannot uh, give anything about Krishna. When there is no talk about Krishna, it is only a matter of opulence and dead things. Then, so that is why they are called living deads, because give uh, they cannot give anything. What we call, they cannot give that eternity. When Krishna is not there, when they cannot give that eternity, then that's why they are called living dead. So, and they are also called poisonous, because they cannot give anything. They may seem that we can approach them and take some benefit out of them, but that fruit is poisonous fruit. Though it looks like a fruit, we cannot actually eat it. So that is why. So that is why one should not approach this kind of opulent people, but rather we should approach saints and take Krishna consciousness from them for the for a jiva's well-being and eternity. So we'll stop here. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Summarize some of the points that I noted.
Yes, Prabhu.
We mentioned like whatever opulence we have now is because of our previous pious and impious activities. So we have to use that in the service of Krishna's. Otherwise, like it will be misused for sense gratification. Then you mentioned that like all the ashramas are meant to satisfy the Vishnu or Krishna. Then you mentioned about there are four enemies within the family, like who is taking the father who is taking the lot of loans, mother getting married to the other, second marriage, or Rupavati wife and Apandita son, Murkha son. So then, like you mentioned about one can perfect one's life, even in Grihastha life. Then you talked about two extremities where like Veena leaving the kingdom and then going to the forest to satisfy Krishna. And Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight for the kingdom. So these looks to extremities, but both are meant for satisfying the Krishna. So then there you mentioned that in Bhakti Yoga, the impetus is to serve and please the Krishna. Then you talked about like in the Karma Yoga, there are Nishkama Karma Yoga, Sakama Karma Yoga. Then you mentioned that like after that, like nicely narrated the Vidura's glories. So how even though Vidura was in the midst of the political guys, political persons, so he never got deviated from the service to Krishna. So when Vidura advised Dhritarashtra to invite Pandavas and hand over the kingdom to them. So Duryodhana has thrown him out. So even though he was bereft of the wealth and home, but he got so much freedom from all these things, and then he was always happy because he took that is the plan of Krishna. So there you mentioned very nicely, until and unless one is thoroughly convinced that he is protected by the Lord, one should not take to the renunciation. So otherwise, like it will be immature and then start doubting the protection of the Lord. So then you mentioned that like how I mean one has to engage himself in occupational duties, and then at the end, like you mentioned that the for all these things, underlying principle is one should develop the strong faith in on Lord and serve the is serve him and his devotees. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So devotees lines are already unmuted. Devotees can unmute and ask any questions or
Just one point too, I forgot to tell. So there is one very beautiful video. There is a lecture by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. It was given on November 26 or 24 somewhere, it seems. So Prabhuji talks about fearlessness, and he explains so nicely. This purport itself is a very Vidra's purport. This shloka itself, his text itself is very nice. And on top of that, Prabhupada's purport, and then this explanation given by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is very, very wonderful. Please, that is where I learned few things and try to add these points. Please, I would, if needed, I can share that link. So please request to everyone to go through that once when time permits. Yes, Prabhu. Sorry.
You can post it in the chat box.
Yes, Prabhu. Right now I don't see it. I will send it to you, Prabhu.
Sure.
Yes.
So devotees can ask any questions or clarifications.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for the wonderful class.
Thank you.
Prabhu, please share that link
Yes,
in the
Prabhu.
group, to the group, Prabhu. Group.
Yes, I will share it.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Very practical
Hare
lecture and very nice. Prabhu, that 4 enemies you told, no? What's the first one? The other 3, I just got it first.
Rinakarta Pitakshatru.
Oh, one was got
Prabhupada in one of the lectures, he mentions this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes.
That's what Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Prabhu. Thank you
Yes.
for the wonderful class.
Hare
Prabhu, you were telling about live and death, Prabhu. DEATH, death, or it's depth?
Debt.
DEBT.
DEBT, yes. You are talking Rinakarta Pitashatru, right? That part, right?
No, Prabhu. He said afterwards, one who cannot give back to the eternity is called live and death, or something like that. Live and death.
So see, living dead in the purport.
Oh, living dead.
Living
Okay.
dead. It is in the purport. It's there, Mataji, in the same shloka.
Okay.
The today's shloka, it is there.
Okay.
Living dead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
DEAD.
They are living, but they are dead because they don't have that. That when Krishna consciousness is absent, it's the person is living, but he's actually dead.
Okay.
Like that.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
They are called Atmaha, one who is not caring for their well-being of the soul, but only taking care of the body. So they are called living dead.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Prabhu, can you please repeat that 4 enemies, Prabhu?
4 enemies, yes, Mataji. Renukarta Pitashatru, one who is left dead for the son. Such father is considered as an enemy.
Yes, Prabhu.
However, this is not once we should not approach like that, the members, family members. But this is a general, this is kind of to give an understanding that how the relationships are all temporary, to give that understanding. And also, if mother takes to second marriage, it's like a Shatru. And if once wife is charming, beautiful, then it is an impetus for the, it is an impediment for the husband. So that is she is a Shatru. And then if the son is a Pandita, if he's not very knowledgeable, intelligent enough, then he is a Shatru.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
I think everybody is clear, Prabhuji, so we can end up.
Thank you. वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. वैष्णव ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji, once again. Thanks all for being attentive. Again, we'll meet tomorrow at 7:15.